What is up, YouTube? KM888 here, and once again I'm here with my deck profile of my Pendulum Magician deck. Now, the thing is, the deck hasn't changed that much from last time, but the thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna explain a bit more about the cards and why you should be running them right now in this metagame. Video is probably gonna take about 30 minutes, I'm guessing. So if you don't want to sit down for that, I'll also put a link to my deck profile in the description. But then of course you don't get the explanations for why I run certain cards, but I'm pretty sure you're gonna find it somewhere in the video if you just fast forward over it. It's always a thing, I know. Now the thing is with Pendulum Magicians, at my locals, it's a really good meta right now. You see a lot of Pendulum Magician, you see a lot of Thunder Dragon, True Draco and other back row decks, and the occasional Sky Strike or Salamangreat player still trying the deck. So what I'm testing is actually the full meta, and that's actually fun for me because I can reach out to so many strategies and try them all. So yeah, I'm gonna go over the deck. Gonna try explain it as good as I can. Don't hate me for it, but if you find any constructive criticism, just put it down in the description below. I always welcome it. So yeah. First of all, Triple Servant. This is gonna be even more important than ever. Everybody probably saw the new tin promos already. You have the enormous rock. You have that spell card, Dark Lord No More or something. And then you have the Macrocosmo Hand Trap. Now, the Macrocosmo Hand Trap is something you can't really do anything against that unless you're playing Call by the Grave. But I really don't like Call by the Grave, and neither do I like Cyframe Gear Gamma in the main deck anymore. I've tried it out like really a lot, but I just never saw it when I needed it. So I just decided no hand traps, going all in on the 6 cards basically. And up till now, that's actually been proven the best way for Pendulum to work, I feel. Just no hand traps, not in the main, not in the side. And I'm actually really happy with that still. The main 2 issues though are the rock, the Nimbasa? No, I have no clue how it's called. It's a really weird name, I feel. The big ass rock. And we have Jackal King for that. So I do feel that you have to summon as many things, as many ways to get Jackal King out on the board and to play around that card, going first in game 1 or game 2 or game 3, whenever. It's a card that's actually been played in the main deck, I feel, for some decks at least, so why not, right? Triple Servant is your main way to get into said Jackal King, just because of the counters, the way it works. It's even better in America because they don't have the rule that I can only try to use the effect once, so this against Ash Blossom is way better in America than it is right here in Europe. But I still feel like even in Europe, play 3 of this card, it's amazing. You really want this in your opening hand, so yeah. Playing 1 of the Endymion, just in case you banish your Jackal Kings, or if you go up against a back row deck, you really want the Endymion to be coming out, just to stop that back row. It's really annoying sometimes, and this card is really good. Also, its scale effect remains an out to Mystic Mine, so it's the scale effect hardly ever comes up because it's so hard to accumulate counters in a build like this. But when you get it off, oh my, it's so wonderful. So yeah. Then of course the 2 main monsters that you want to summon of the Servant, Jackal Kings, used to stop any hand trap bar impermanence. Now the thing is, you're putting a lot of pressure on one Jackal King, not being banished by desires, not being able to draw it if you have Servant, because then you can't get it out as well. And just the fact that some decks run like 10 hand traps, so Jackal King is having so much trouble on its own. So I do feel that you have to run a second one just in case that you get it out. And it's just the best out against that rock, so just play 2, it's way better right now. And then also, I'm playing 2 Master Cerberuses again. I wasn't really a fan of this, but I still am not. I still I still, how do you say that in English? Like, I'm still not a fan of it. So, but in general, Master Cerberus is a good card going first because it does start your combo. You can go into Electromite, go from there. It can get ashed. It's a real downside if you have it like that. But just the fact that you have Master Cerberus just facilitates the Jackal King way more. And if you have it in combination with the Chronograph, you get the Jackal King on the field immediately, and you have 2 summons there, but it doesn't matter because you're getting counters on the Jackal King. And from there on out, you're basically good to go. So yeah, you can do standard combos, go from there, and just wreak havoc. To be honest, so yeah, it's really good. Also going second. If you have to go second and you have Servant, you can just special summon the Master Cerberus from the deck and then start doing combos with this card, just banishing their stuff and attacking for game. The card itself is really powerful then. If you, like for instance, if you banish a Colossus, this card goes up to 5/4. It's just amazing. I do believe Colossus has 2/6 attack, I think. I'm not sure, but oh well. In general, like really good, so why not, right? This is for the spell counter engine. Endymion and Mythical Beast together, spell counter engine. I do feel name fits it. Triple Chronograph card is just bonkers. It's definitely the best card of the deck. You can do so many things with this. It's good in tandem with the Servant. It can special summon itself and another card as well. Well, I don't need to explain Chronograph. It's just the best card in the deck. Time Gazer isn't really a brick anymore as well, because if you have the Servant, they can't Ghost Ogre Servant. Well, they can try to Ghost Ogre Servant, but it won't be destroyed because of the Time Gazer. So it really isn't a brick anymore as well. You can just normal summon it, protect your Servant from going off. It's pretty cool. My Magician lineup is pretty small, but I do like it, I have to say, because Pendulum Call you can search whatever you need anyways. And if you really need it, then Electromite is still there. So yeah, 2 Harmonizings, 2 Purple Poisons, 1 Black Fang. I do feel that since I'm playing Desires, that I have to play 3 level 4s. The thing with the Magician lineup, you always want to see Harmonizing Magician in your hand to Pendulum Summon it out. The downside of it is if you have Pendulum Call, you can't search 2 Harmonizing Magicians. And if you don't have a high scale in your hand already, you'll have to search another high scale. So you're gonna go with Black Fang and Harmonizing then. I didn't go for Dragon Pit Magician because it's a level 7, you don't really need that in the deck anymore. But also the fact that you're not playing that many Magicians, so you're probably not gonna get the effect off. And not getting that effect off is actually quite important because it's already a vanilla monster. If it's a vanilla scale, well, I'm not sure I want to run that. So Mystic Mine isn't as prevalent anymore, and I do play main deck outs for it anyways. So I don't think it's that terrible. But yeah, in general, I just wanted to have a high scale in the Black Fang, and then enough level 4s to be special summoned of the Harmonizing, so you can go for your rank 4 plays or your Synchro 8 plays. So yeah, that's actually quite important, I feel. Now, the thing is, both Purple Poison and Black Fang have good utility, I feel. Black Fang just halves a monster's attack, you can ram over it pretty easily. It's important in all kind of matchups, and also the fact that you can special summon from the graveyard does come up sometimes, not like all the time, but it can come up, and that's important. Just the fact that it can happen gives you another play. The Purple Poison, however, is way more important. That's also the reason I'm playing 2. If you're going second, having Purple Poison is so important. It's good against all kinds of matchups. It's good against a True Draco matchup, it's good against Thunder, it's good against all sort of Floodgates. I don't see a reason not to play 2 Purple Poisons right now. If you want to change the number, go to 3, not go down. Purple Poison is all the way. It's a really good card for going second, so why not? And then the final Magician in the deck is Overdragon Magician. If you want to count a Time Gazer as well, I'm playing 7 Magicians, so it's a good number. The reason Overdragon is in here, even though it's not a level 4, is because you get pluses from it. And the meta game is gonna be such a grind game, it's not even to laugh at. Even against Thunder, I've been playing against Thunder for a while, and they put up a board, or you put up a board, and then the other player tries to break it, and most of the time it gets broken, but you end up with not very much of cards at all. So you need to be sure that you have enough cards in your hand for the next turn, since you're not going to get OTK'd because you just broke their board. But you have to make sure that you can build a board next turn, and Overdragon allows that. If you have Overdragon and Black Dragon the Scale, you can go and get back the Harmonizing already. And then next turn you can maybe get back another card, and having 2 more cards to work with, it means you already have 3 cards. So Overdragon is just something I don't think you can miss. So also, if you have one of the Magicians in your graveyard, maybe due to detaching it from an Exceed material, and you Pendulum summon the Overdragon back, you get the utility back that you need. So Overdragon is just a well-rounded card. So I don't feel that you have to cut down on it. Just 1 is enough. You can search it out whenever you want with Pendulum Call if you have it, so yeah. For the Guard Dragon engine, I'm only playing 2 Dark Worms. This actually pained my heart to cut 1 down. But the general thought behind it was that most of the time you want to send it with Shrine or Foolish anyway. And while it's still a good normal summon, you want to special summon it, and it goes to the grave the best if you have your spell cards. So don't cut down on the spell cards, not even after siding. You really need that. It's a way better way to get the Dark Worm into the graveyard. I do know, like, the Macrocosmo hand trap is a thing, but I don't feel like it's gonna do that much. It's more like the Gnome material thing where you can't have any cards in your graveyard if you activate it. So it's only good turn 1, and not a lot of people play Gnome material, even though it's a really good card. But it has its weaknesses, and that's the thing why people don't use it. Like, on the other hand, if you have this in your hand, you can still scale it, put a gate 0 in your scale, it's also a thing. So playing it at 2 is actually still fine. The one thing that put my head that I didn't want to cut it down is that it could happen that I don't have a target in my deck to special summon for an LP, like with Desires if you banish a lot of dragons. But I've put another kind of dragon in. You're gonna see that in like a minute. That actually solved this thing a little bit, that I couldn't drop the Dark Worm. But 2 Dark Worms is fine for me right now. Basically, with the 3 Shrines and the Foolish, I'm running 6, so why not, right? Having this with Pendulum Call is of course really big, but yeah, the odds of that aren't as great anyways as this, so... 1 gate 0, the true brick of the deck. It's never good if you draw it, only against Thunder Dragon maybe, because you wouldn't have been able to search it out anyways. But even then, you more than likely want the Dark Worm because you can scale it and get the gate 0 that way. Yeah, it's the only real brick of the deck, I feel. Like, Time Gazer ain't even a brick anymore. The one thing that people don't know about this card, or seem to forget, is that it has an effect on the field. So if you Pendulum summon it out, like for say in the upmost right zone, where most of the time it's a dead monster zone right here for me, unless I can get enough level 4s for the regular combo. But if you don't get it, you don't get it. So having this is actually something that can happen. You special summon it from the extra deck. You can target this as well as another card in your field, destroy them both, to special summon a Fusion or Synchro Dragon from your extra deck. I have to read this for a second. So you target one other face-up card you control, destroy both it and this card, and if you do, special summon one Dragon type Fusion or Synchro monster from your deck, but it's from your extra deck, but its attack and defense becomes 0 and it has its effect negated. Also, it cannot be used as a material for a Synchro or Exceed summon. So the thing that could happen is if you're starting your combo, you have this on the field, and you go for LP. And at the moment that you summon LP, they Gnome material your Electromite, for instance. So you can't get rid of the Electromite, and now you're locked into dragons, and oh my god, no, this can't be happening. You're stuck, your combo is going nowhere, and you can't do anything anymore. Thank fuck for this guy. Use this effect, target the LP, destroy them both, special summon any Fusion or Synchro Dragon from your extra deck. You don't even care at this point. And you can use that dragon to actually link further on. Like the electromite can't be used, but now that it is not, now that the LP isn't on the field anymore, you can go for other link plays, other fusion or exceed plays. So, and since you free up the zone where the LP is in, you can actually still keep going. So there's actually some merit into that. I really like that effect. You hardly ever use it, but if it comes up and you don't know it, it's something that you totally miss out on. But yeah, the Gate Zero, I still like it. Also, if this card on the field gets destroyed by a card effect, you can place it in your spell zone. So you can actually plus off of this with Electromite if you get another way to draw, like with the Chronograph. So you can destroy this on the field, add Chronograph to your hand or something. This goes into the scale, Chronograph in scale, and if you use this effect for a Time Gazer, you still get a draw from the Electromite. So it's actually an additional plus. So that's actually kind of neat. Kind of the same with Servant, because Servant also has that effect, but I don't know if anybody knows that, so yeah. Aether, the Evil Empowering Dragon. I love the card, special summon of the Heretic Seal. I don't like the Amorphages anymore. Like, if you try to summon the Amorphages of the Seal, the best way that you want them to function is to stop Super Polymerization. But Super Poly is a quick play spell and they can just chain it. So at that point they still summon their card and your slot is useless. Also, half of the time they let the slot or the Goliath be on the field and it's in your way during your turn. So it's actually kind of detrimental at some point. So I really started to dislike the slot and the Goliath plays. When you're trying to summon them from the seal. The best thing that you can actually do is try to get them to your hand with Electromite and normal summon them, but having the viability to actually using your Electromite for an additional floodgate play instead of your normal consistency plays, I don't think you should be doing that. Hand traps all around, you're not going to get the pieces that you need and you're going to have to need your Electromite to fix those pieces for your normal play. You can't afford to have something like an Amorphous slot being sent just so you can stop Super Poly. You have to do something else for that. So I feel Aether is still the most important card. You can just summon it, turn one, well, going first, going second, it's a good card. So yeah, Aether is just way better. The Destrudo is of course needed for the standard play. You're gonna summon it from the LP, resummon it to make your Synchro 7 and go from there. And then the final piece for the Guard Dragon engine, Luster Pendulum, the Draco Slayer. Hear me out on this one. I'm only running one, even though the card's at 3, but the reason for it is really simple. Three reasons in total, so bear with me here on these reasons. The first thing, imagine your opening hand having the Master Cerberus and a Duelist Alliance. You're going to go with Master Cerberus and you're going to use its effect before using the Duelist Alliance. Really important. They ash the Master Cerberus, so at this point you're stuck. Use Duelist Alliance, get Luster Pendulum, use the effect, pop the Master Cerberus, add another Master Cerberus from your deck to your hand, and you're unclogged. At this point, you can still do whatever you want. A scale 5 isn't as detrimental, I guess, than a scale 4, because you can still summon the level 4s. But the more important thing is that you can have Chronograph in your hand at that point. And if you have the Chronograph, Luster Pendulum triggers it, you can special summon it together with the other Master Cerberus, go for your Electromite, send whatever you need, pop your Luster Pendulum, have full scales, go from there through an Ash without any problems. Having this alongside the Chronograph is actually a second reason. Just popping the Chronograph already, like effect, pop this, you get a second copy to your hand. This triggers, you summon it with another monster, doesn't even matter which one, and you have an Electromite without a normal summon. So that's actually really important. I love Luster Pendulum for that reason alone already. Let alone the first and utmost reason that I play it. Boral Sword. It's not, maybe not easy to understand, but if you only have like Pendulum 3, that's the easiest thing. I'll just show it, because like you just go scale, scale, and this is why this is also important. You can go with these and just it's simple as that. So and let's say you Pendulum 3. Needs to be 3 Pendulum monsters, of course. So, like, terrible hands, terrible, terrible, terrible. So you Pendulum these 3. Like a terrible hand, like as you can see, it's not. Oh, I can't even Pendulum summon this because it's 0 to 5 at the moment. So let's say these. Normally, if you have this, you aren't going to OTK. That's just crazy, crazy talk. Well, at this point, go into Electromite. Use Electromite's effect. Oh, you can't see Electromite. Let's do it like this. Electromite's effect. Send any monster. I don't even care. You don't even have to use it. Use its effect, pop 0, add back that purple poison that I had on the field like a second ago. Normal summon it, but not in the wrong zone, please. So you have it right here. Using this, the Dark Worm, to go into LP. Electromite and purple poison, they're gonna go into Triple Burst. Using LP's effect, summoning the Strudo. Where's that thing? Or even better, like Aether. Just go into Aether. Banish a monster. One monster gone from the field. At this point, I'm gonna go into the Aggerpain. Aggerpain effect, summon Ignister. Ignister first effect. Pop this one, bounce another monster. It's 2 monsters gone already. 2. Use the second effect of Ignister. Summon the Luster. At this point, use these 3 monsters, which is together link 4, for a Boral Sword. You've managed to summon Boral Sword and Ignister, a monster that you can put into defense for the Boral Sword, with only your Guard Dragon plays. And that's important, because this is over 8,000. It's 8,850. So if the opponent only has 1 additional monster, only 1, you can OTK. If they have 2, you can OTK under certain circumstances, because the monster has to be big enough for your Boral Sword to do enough damage, because the first attack is always 3,000, and this thing will be 2,850, but then this has to be strong enough still to swing over the other monster with enough damage. So imagine it only gets 1,000, so it's at 4,000. You're doing 5,850 already, so you're gonna need 2,150 still. So you need over 2,000 damage. So if the monster has 2,800 attack or something, you're not gonna get there. But yeah, that's just a formality basically. So yeah, it's not really that important, not that big of a deal. But in general, I really like this combo. So it's always a thing that can happen. And that's actually the reason that I really like Luster. You need 1 if you want to OTK with the simplest of things. So yeah. That's it for the Guard Dragon combo. For the rest of the deck, I am playing 2 Archfiend Eccentrics. I really like these. Game 1, you're not always guaranteed to go first, and everybody knows that. We all had those days like, I only won 1 or 2 die rolls in 7 games. That's where these cards come in. That's where the purple poisons come in, and I still have surprises left in my spell lineup. Just being able to pop spells, to pop monsters on the go with Archfiend Eccentric, using this in a spell, popping a back row, popping a floodgate, bar anti-spell or Imperial Order of course, because you can't really put this in the scale then. Pendulum summoning it out again, using its effect, popping a monster. It can get around Archfiend Abyss. It's a thing that it tributes itself and then it pops, so the Archfiend Abyss can't target it anymore. Of course it can target it just when it hits the field, but then it already has hit the field, so you just have a monster extra for Electromite. It's free then, so why not, right? I just love this. If I know that I'm going to go second, I wish I put a third in, but it just clogs a little bit at least. It's also good with Servant, because you can put it in scale and it leaves the field when you try to pop their back row, so it's another counter for Servant. And well, that's it for the monsters. And well, yeah, I think I play like 27 or something, so that's a big number, 26, 27. I really don't know. The deck in total is 42, so that's actually fine. But yeah, For the spells, you really need this. Just 4 ways to dump Darkworm. It's mind-boggling how important this is. Just sending Darkworm to the graveyard and not adding it to your hand. Like, Colossus is such a big contender in this metagame, it's crazy. Every Thunderboard ends on the Colossus, and if they rip a card out of your hand with the Chaos Dragon Legionnaire, and then you only have 5 cards to begin with. If 3 or 2 of your cards are search cards, you're not gonna do anything. Like the Archant Abyss is there, they have a Savage Dragon, they have Hope Harbinger, they might have the Heretic Seal, they have like... They make as much negates as we do, like bar maybe 1 or 2, but they have the Colossus to back that up, and that's stupidly powerful. It's crazy. So this, way more important than anything to add. I've opted to maximize this and minimize this. These cards search, and they're not gonna get around Colossus. The Foolish Burial and Dragon Shrine just might. The reason I'm still playing it like this, 1 Duelist Alliance, 2 Pendulum Calls, because of Desires. Pendulum should run 3 Desires, especially when Thunder Dragon is a thing, because drawing is more important than searching. But you don't want to run 3 Pendulum Calls, just because, well, Servant is a thing. 2 Pendulum Calls is enough. You have the Luster in the deck that you can always search from Duelist Alliance if things should go wrong. But having Duelist Alliance is better than having Pendulum Call because you deck thin, and it's another counter for the Servant if you have it. So yeah, it's basic things with Pendulum Call and Duelist Alliance. I do have to admit, cutting it down to 3, you don't see it that often, especially in 42 card deck, but you see it enough, and believe me that when you're playing against a lot of Thunder Dragon, you're happy not to see it, so yeah. Triple Spell Power Mastery, you always want to see Servant. Again, against Thunder Dragon it is bad, it's simply a terrible card, but just as well with Pendulum Calls, I'm playing 3, and I'm playing 3 of this. Nothing more. All the rest of my deck isn't actually obligated to search. I do have the Master Cerberuses, and I do have the Luster Pendulum, but they can also be used to be special summoned from the deck for OTK purposes, so they have other things that they can do. Against Thunder Dragon, these are my only 6 real cards that I don't want to see in my opening hand, so yeah. In general, Spell Power Mastery, fantastic card. You want to see your Servant as fast as possible. If it so happens, you can also search the scale 8, just to complete your scales. It's also a thing. So yeah. Triple Desires you want to draw. Who doesn't like a +1? In Pendulum it's just crazy. The 1 Upstart Goblin, I am playing 42 cards, but just as in every deck that goes over 40, if you have the Upstart Goblin, it's an additional counter for the Servant, it's another card that you can banish from the Desires that you don't mind, and just in general it's still deck thins, so why not? And the final 2 cards. Now, don't hate me on this one. It's mostly there because of combo decks and the power that they represent. Double Super Polymerization. First things first, I didn't want to run 3. 3 Super Polymerization is going to clog as hell. You're going to see it all the time, and you don't want to see it all the time in your opening hand, but you want to see it all the time when you're going second. The chances of drawing one with 6 cards is actually remarkably better than drawing it in your opening hand at 3. So, I mean, I didn't want to see it when I go for when I'm going first, except against Thunder maybe, or Pendulum Mirror matches. Like, who knows? But in general, it's still a really good card. Why not? I'm only playing 1 target in my extra deck. You're gonna see that in a couple of minutes. But I just think it's way too important. Like, you don't really care about Salamangreat, Sky Striker, True Draco, not even. Like, game 1 you might lose, but then game 2 and 3 you win thanks to your side. Or at least you should be winning, so yeah. But it's game 1 against Thunder that's really important. If you can pull the Super Poly against Thunder when they are going first, or when you're going first and you have it, you can set it and it's an additional negate. Like, you take away 2 of their monsters for a Starving Venom. Like, wow, how crazy is that? Yeah, Like Super Poly, really good. Even against the Pendulum Mirror match, you actually in the Pendulum Mirror match is the only time you have 2 cards as targets for the Super Poly. You can just fuse away their allied Vortex Dragon with a Jackal King or an Endymion and summon your own Vortex Dragon, so it's always a thing. In general, I really like Super Poly. It's a good card against Thunder Dragon builds, and you can just about clear their board because of 1 card. That's really important, I feel. So yeah. Extra deck. I don't have to say anything about Electromite, of course. Card is nuts. Card Dragon Package. LP, Agar Pain, Triple Burst, Erratic Seal. You always will be running these as long as they're legal. It's stupendously how easy it is to pull out 3 negates. Like with this, you get the Vortex Dragon, you get the Erratic Seal Bounce, which doesn't target, really important, and you get the Aether, which you're summoning of it, which is a banish. So you're getting rid of 3 cards of your opponent with just this combo. Stupid. Speaking of Vortex Dragon, here is the Vortex Dragon. It's a really good card. Why not summon something that can negate anything that you want? Next up, for Exceeds, playing 2, playing the Dweller, playing the Tornado Dragon. They're both the most generic outs for the deck that we're facing right now. True Draco, Thunder Dragon, still really good. Salaman great, so why not? Sky Striker, anything back row related like Subterror, just awesome. If you like against True Draco, you can even put both of these on the field. So yeah, why not? For Synchros, we're having the FA Dawn Draxa. I do feel that this is more important than the Cyframe Lord Zeta at the moment. Thunder Dragon is also going to fall off the map because of the spell cards coming out. The Dark Ruler no more. Any Light of Sekka build is just dead. They can just break your board. You have nothing. Like Pendulum, I'm even going to use that card, like Dark Ruler no more. If I go up against anything and they don't have an answer, I win because I just break their board, put up mine, and it's just like I went first. So yeah. Dawn Draxa. Ignis of Prominence. Yeah, it's one of the best level 8s. So yeah, why not? Then our Super Poly target, Starving Venom. Really good card. You can. I chose this over the Predaplant. If the Predaplant is better, you can always tell me. But I feel that Starving Venom is way better. It's more generic in having 2 darks. They don't always have the fusion to be using for the Predaplant. And what does happen a lot is that if I have the Super Poly set from first turn and they summon like 2 dangers, I'm feeling like Nightmare Phoenix is gonna come out, and Nightmare Phoenix is just gonna pop the Super Poly, so I don't have anything useful for it. So I can't use Super Poly because I have a Predaplant. So what I can do is Super Poly the 2 dangers away, make Starving Venom, which is another card that they have to think about, because if they destroy it, it'll wipe their field. So yeah. Super Poly really good against that deck, by the way. And then the final 4 cards, they were kind of free for me because I could practically choose whatever I want, and I've chosen a really easy route, I think, so try to follow me on this one. I've chosen a generic Link 2 in Cyframe Lord Lambda. The benefits of the card are actually pretty simple. The opponent might think that you're playing Gamma, so it's a little bit of mind games. It's the most powerful Link 2, so in case you need to do some more damage, 700 is a big difference from the Beat Cup, so why not? So yeah, Lambda is still really fine, I feel. For our Link 3, Topologic Trisbane. This might seem weird, but back row is an actual threat, this format. Triple Judgment is nothing to laugh at. So when you're done luring out some back row, you can just make this, special summon something under it, banish everything they have left. And that's so important in some decks, like against Subterra Guru. You can just banish their field spell alongside all the rest that they might still have. If they've used the final battle already, it'll still be gone. So yeah. Also, this is a cyber, so under there can be only one, you can actually still make this pretty easily because you have nothing else in the deck that's a cyber, so yeah. Trisbane, love it. Guy won me some games against True Draco going first and everything, so yeah, definitely not... think about it, really. The OTK Master Boral Sword Dragon. You have to run this. If you don't do this, don't bother even playing Pendulums. Card is way too good. You might be able to switch it out for an Avramax, but I still like Boral Sword better, so yeah. And then the final link for is the Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess. Appaloosa is just awesome. The thing that a lot of people don't realize is you have your turn 1 board, might get stuck by hand traps or you might get it, but they can still even break it. And if they break it, then you have a turn 2 play in summoning Appaloosa, which is just a couple of negates. I've made this a couple of times with 4 negates, and why not, right? Getting 3,200 attack, it's still a really good card, so yeah. Also, I love this card when you can make it alongside Heretic Seal. It's something that can happen, and that will happen, so definitely take that into consideration. And then probably the weirdest side deck that you'll see, but I will explain it and you'll get it. Triple Denkoseka. Yeah, no need for explanations there, right? Sky Striker, back row decks in general, it's a solid card. Double Pancratops. I love the fact that you can side this going first and going second, because you can Pendulum Summon it since it's a level 7. I don't like to play 3 of it though. If you side it in going first, you don't want to see 2 of them in your opening hand, which already happens when I'm playing 2, so don't mind that. But the card is just so good against Salamangreat, Sky Striker. Just special summon it and you try to attack, and if they try to Widow Anchor this, you just tribute it, get rid of a card. It's easy peasy. Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. Now, I have talked about super polymerization against Pendulum. While it's true that they can actually make Starving Venom Fusion Dragon, if you have 2 dark monsters for, let's say, Jackal King Endymion, or a Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss if you're playing it. That's terrible, your field is almost gone now. They can play the Predaplant Fusion, just fusing away your Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon with a Jackal King, or with something else that's a dark. They can play their own Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon. I've seen people actually do that, playing Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon, because it's similar to the Predaplant Fusion, like it's just another target, and it bounces on summon, so it just gets rid of 3 cards. Then they can try to summon Mud Dragon if you have, like with the Heretic Seal and another light, if you have another light. Maybe Hope Harbinger if you summon that from the Guard Dragon combo. So they have outs for everything with Super Poly, except for Crystal Wing Dragon. So you can just do your regular combo, make a rank 4 Indweller, make a Synchro 7 with Dawn Dragsta, which is also a light for the Mud Dragon. Then you have the Heretic Seal, you have, and then you have your dragon that you summon off of the Guard Dragon play. Why can't you let the dragon be Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon after siding? Just counter the Super Poly play by summoning this. They have a dead card in their hand with Super Poly. Well, if they draw it, of course. And it's still a good monster negate. And since you're summoning Dawn Dragster anyway, you have your spell negate there. Most of the time, it'll be enough. And this is still a good card against Thunder Dragon because it gets so beefy. It's not even funny. But yeah, if you have to counter Super Poly, I don't really like the Amorphagus, so I just go with Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, and it's actually a really good option that you can do. So yeah, just think about that. Even if you go against against a Pendulum Mirror match, you can just keep the Vortex in, side this in for the Guard Dragon play, and then Super Poly for your own Vortex. So yeah. Okay, the next cards are for going first. I'm playing the Zephyr Nui, Secret of the Yangzing, with 1 Zephyr Divine Strike. if you know that you're going first after game 1, you can do this combo by taking out the eccentrics, because you don't need the eccentrics at that point per se. And if you summon this, you get the Zephyr Divine Strike. Link this thing away or use the pseudo in it for your Synchro 7 play. And at that point you have a counter for the new spell card's gonna come out, Dark Ruler No More. But you can also keep this as your final negate, something that you're holding on to so that they have no plays left. And it's just something that you can do, and it's really good. So yeah. Then for the Thunder Dragon matchup, Triple Mystic Mine. This is definitely gonna become the Dark Lord No More, because that card is just way better against a deck than this is. I still like Mystic Mine because you can just win because of it, which happened a couple of times already. If you see it, you win. Just lure out their only negates that can stop this, and then you play this and you win. But as soon as Dark Lord No More is here, like, this is coming out for that card immediately. Double Evenly Matched. I really like it, but not that much that I want to play 3. Just a good card in general, as it's Red Reboot. Just wanted to play 2 of each, so yeah. That was it for the deck profile. I hope you guys liked it. It was a tad long, but I did warn you for that. I think I explained all my choices. So yeah, if you have anything to ask, just comment down below. Constructive criticism is never bad, I guess. So yeah, I hope you guys liked it, and I see you guys in the next video. Ciao!